Hello and welcome to Isafjordur.
This is the second time we visited this port in Iceland and we're really looking forward to today.
Now today is a really early start because we have an excursion at 9 AM, so we got up early and headed for breakfast.
Hi there, if you're new to our channel, we are Tom and Dom Travel and we release a new cruise related video every single week. So if you haven't done so already, press that subscribe button and don't forget to give this video a like.
On our way into Isafjordur this morning, we had absolutely spectacular views. So just like the last time we were here, the mountains and the surrounding fjord were spectacular.
Yes, it's truly a magnificent view. You open your curtains to your balcony and you're just greeted with this massive mountain with snow on the top. Beautiful.
The last time we were here in Isafjordur, we had to tender to get to the port, but right now Isafjordur has just opened a brand new pier where the ship can dock. It's so new that they are still outside here right now rolling the concrete. It is brand new.
Makes all the difference because Isafjordur is a very small town in Iceland and the tender ride was around about 30 minutes long, so just being able to get straight off the ship, pretty much being in the centre of town, is absolutely fantastic now.
And we're not the only ship here today, so for such a small place there is a lot of people coming off ships today. Also in port today was a Ponant ship and a Viking ship.
So lots and lots of people in Isafjordur today.
So in fact there is more people coming off ships than there are who live here.
This morning we had an excursion booked at 9 AM. We didn't go through Princess for this excursion. We booked direct with the company Bus Travel Iceland.
And it couldn't have been easier. We got straight off the ship, found our bus and were on board within minutes.
The bus was full as expected because there is a lot of people in port today. However, really easy process and we found the bus with no problems at all.
Now our tour guide introduced herself. It was a lady named Rachel, and no, she was not Icelandic. She was actually Australian. She told us that she had moved here for work just before the pandemic, got stuck here and has never left since.
She's now happily settled with her husband in one of the local towns near Isafjordur.
And she was an absolutely fantastic guide. She's so knowledgeable. We headed towards our first stop on our excursion today, the DYNJANDI Waterfall. Now I might not be saying that correctly, but that's what I'm going with.
Along the way, our tour guide filled us in with so many interesting facts and figures regarding the landscape, why there are so many sheep just roaming freely among the mountains and the roads. And the reason is because during the summer months, the farmers just let them loose so they can eat all of the wild berries and fatten themselves up for lambing season.
We also passed through a number of tunnels. We passed through the longest tunnel in Iceland and the newest.
One of them was only a single road where you had to give way to oncoming traffic. Now bearing in mind it was 9 kilometres long.
The tunnels took us from one fjord to the other and we passed through about 2 or 3 fjords on our way to the waterfall. Once we reached the waterfall we were given an hour to spend to walk up to the waterfall and experience it up close.
To access the waterfall we had to drive over a dirt track, quite narrow considering this waterfall is quite a popular tourist destination, so there were lots of other people there as well. When we arrived there was a car park and the only fixed structure is actually a set of toilets.
Now, if you have accessibility problems, we wouldn't recommend this tour because to walk up to the waterfall was not easy. There was a short path that was paved that you probably could use to get a wheelchair up to the bottom of the waterfall, but further than that you have no chance. It is a really difficult path and quite a few of our fellow passengers started their hike up to the top of the waterfall but gave up along the way.
There was very little paving or any pre-built steps. It was pretty much a gravel and rocky path all the way to the top, and it was quite easy to lose your footing as the ground gave way.
But once you got to the waterfall it was absolutely spectacular, and what really made the waterfall was the noise it made. It was such a roar when you heard it and it spread out right across the rocks.
We managed to make our way up to the top and it took us around about 45 minutes to get up there and get back down. Bearing in mind we stopped along the way to get some videos and some photos because it was truly breathtaking.
On the way back down, we did stop off at the toilets. It is one of the only places that does have toilets locally, so it's worth bearing that in mind. After the waterfall, we headed back onto the coach and on to our next stop, which was a local family farm.
This local farm had been there for a number of generations, and it was just really interesting to see how they lived and reared and slaughtered their animals.
Yes, they had a young boy on the farm who was really the best English speaker out the lot, and he was very happy to answer questions and speak to all of us passengers. The family also offered us some cake and some hot drinks.
The cake was a traditional Icelandic marriage cake, which is quite interesting, and it's supposed to bring luck to newlywed couples.
We all had some.
I don't know why they dished it out to a busload of tourists, but it was delicious.
It was very nice, and they were such a friendly family. They were more than happy to answer questions, show us the animals they've got on the farm. We saw some of their sheep with really quite amazing horns. We saw turkeys, we saw chickens. They're fantastic sheepdog they had there as well. He was beautiful.
They did tell us all about how extreme the Icelandic weather is and just how difficult it is to make a living farming in Iceland. It was really interesting. So they've diversified and branched out and created a number of Airbnb cabins.
Tourism was not popular until a few years ago in the West Fjords there of Iceland, and now it's becoming more and more popular. They've capitalised on that really and turned their farm into somewhere people can visit.
The farm visit was around about 30 minutes, and then we made our way back to Isafjordur on the bus.
Once again, our guide Rachel gave us some fantastic bits of information on the route back, talking about what goes on in the fjords, the local industries, the type of plants you could find locally. Really interesting to listen to her. Considering she's only lived there a few years, she has exceptional knowledge.
Overall, the excursion was 3.5 hours, and to be honest, it wasn't the cheapest of excursions, but because we had been to Isafjordur before, we knew we should do something different than last time. The trip cost us around about £100 each for the 3.5 hours. We believe it was money well spent because the amount of information, facts, figures was incredible.
Yeah, and no excursion in Iceland is cheap at all, so yes, it definitely was worth the money for us. Once we arrived back in Isafjordur, we decided to have a quick little walk around the town and visit the cultural house that we went to before.
So the cultural house is the library for Isafjordur, as well as a little museum about its origins as a hospital.
Last time we were here, we found that there was a nice exhibition, surprisingly, about the Rolling Stones, so we thought we'd see what was happening in that exhibition space this time. Unfortunately, the exhibition was closed and they were waiting a new exhibition to open. We didn't get to see anything there, unfortunately. What we did then do is we headed to the local supermarket.
There's a nice big local supermarket in Isafjordur just off the main road, and we just wanted to stock up on a few bits that we'd forgotten because we're going to Greenland and we're not sure as to whether or not we'll be able to get some of those items that we needed, like insect repellent. And what we found, it was quite reasonably priced in there.
And we wished we'd had some of that insect repellent when we're at the waterfall. When we're at the top of the waterfall, there was quite a few midges flying about.
One of the drawbacks to the waterfall, as much as it was absolutely spectacular, as you ascended the path, you were just attacked by midges. We wish we put a bit of insect repellent on.
The supermarket we visited was called Netto, but we did find that a lot of the products in there were of British origin, and in particular a lot of the frozen meals were actually from Iceland.
Not the country, the shop.
The supermarket that we all know in the UK, which surprised us.
Quite interesting to see curly fries and a number of their own branded products in the freezer.
We then had a walk through town where we spotted once again the rainbow road that we came across the previous time we were here.
So we had to take a few photos just to reminisce and enjoy.
We didn't hang about long in town because, as we said, we've explored it all before. So we then headed back to the ship where we could get some lunch.
As we were getting close to the port, what we did notice is that there is a pop-up souvenir shop just outside the port. So if you want to pick up any traditional Icelandic souvenirs, you can pick them up from there.
And there was also a local family there who were selling some of their own baked goods, brownies and things like that, which was quite nice to see.
We got back on to Island Princess really easy. There wasn't any queues. It was just a nice sort of process. As soon as we got there, we were straight back on the ship.
And that was the end of our day here in Isafjordur.
Thanks for watching our day in Isafjordur on Island Princess. If you've got any comments or questions, just pop them in the box below and we'll get back to you.
And please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell notification button to never miss a video from us.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching. We've got lots more content available on our YouTube channel, so press that subscribe button. If you're interested in receiving daily updates, we're available on most social media platforms. Just search for Tom and Dom Travel.